Good morning, student. I'm going to continue the lesson The Fight by written by Ruskin Bond, and I already have discussed this lesson with you, and now I'm going to start to discuss some important points here. So children, Ranjit, he was in Raipur and he came there at the time of the summer vacation. When he discovered a pool in the forest, he was all alone. He did not had any friends there in the Raipur. And one day he was simply just roaming here and there alone when he suddenly found a pool of water in the forest. It was a very hot day. He plunged into it for swim. So he children that the pool of the water was fresh, clean, inviting. So he plunged into the water and he enjoyed there. Well, children, a small stream also flowed from rocks to feed the pool. Now, children, Ranji was, his body was supple, he was um, free of fat. And just because children, he used to do a lot of exercise, especially swimming, he used to love. Well, children, after finding and after going to the water, next day again he came there and in the forest pool, and he was simply lying there before swimming. He was enjoying, and there he noticed another boy who was looking at him in a very hostile manner. The other boy was Suraj. He was older than Ranjit. He was taller and he was much sturdy. That was much healthier than Ranjit. He said that it was his pool and he always swam alone. So he told that it was his pool and he always swam alone. He called himself a warrior. Ranjit was unafraid. He said that he was not a villager but a fighter. He refused to run away. He threw a challenge to his adversary. The warrior slapped Ranjit with force. Ranjit also hit back with his bony fist into the other's fist. So a fight had started taken between these two children. Now, children, they were once they stopped fighting, again they have started their fight. The two started grappling. It was a very violent struggle. The fight continued even in the water. So that day children, both of them fought and they went towards the water also. So the fight continued in the water also. Neither emerged victorious. None of them children got victory. Both of them were uh, children. They did not lose. They did not win. The warrior deferred the fight for the next day. So children, the fight was, the warrior told that the fight will be taking place next day. Ranjit promised to come prepared for the fight. He had got cuts on his face, legs and arms. That evening he went to the bazaar. He ate jalebis and drank lemonade. Jalebis he ate because he wanted to gain energy for the next day fight. He saw his adversary coming down the road. Both looked angrily at each other. He was feeling weak, knew he was no match to him. But he refused to accept defeat. He thought that as long as he fought, he had the right to the pool in the forest. The next day, the two stood on either bank of the stream. Ranji challenged him to swim and come to his side. He was superior to Suraj in swimming. He could dive easily. He fought his opponent. Ranjit acknowledged that Suraj was a wrestler. Suraj promised to make Boni Ranjit a pahalwan, and Ranjit promised that he would teach him the tips how to dive and how to swim underwater. Both of them children became now friends. A friendship was born between them. Okay, it was a love and understanding between them. They owned the pool jointly thereafter. So children, this is the all the important points in the story. And children, now I think I've completed the first part of the story, and now we have to do the second part, that is page number 49 now. Okay, we have also I've also discussed the question answers with you of the first part. So let's start reading. When Ranjit got home, he found it difficult to explain the cuts and wounds that showed on his face, legs, and arms. So, children, after fighting, when he went home, children, it was very much difficult for him to show his face, legs, and arms. It was difficult to conceal the fact that he had been in an unusually violent fight, and it was very difficult uh, to conceal the fact that he had been in an unusually violent fight. So, children, children, it was very difficult to conceal the fact that he had been in an unusually violent fight. Okay, and what is the meaning of conceal? Conceal means to hide. So here conceal means to hide. The fact that he had been in usually violent fight, and his mother insisted on his staying at home. Now children, even the parents started guessing that he must have fighted with someone, and this time children, the mother also insisted that he should stay at home for the rest of the day. That evening, though, he slipped out of the house and went to the bazaar. Anyhow, children, he went to the bazaar because he wanted to eat something nice to get energy for the next day. So, where he found comfort and solace in a bottle of vividly colored lemonade. Now, children, he felt comfort and solace. Solace is relief or peace. Relief or peace. So, and children, and banana leaf full of hot sweet jalebi. And children, he also had jalebi. Jalebi is a sweet, it's very delicious, crispy jalebis on a banana leaf. So he had jalebis on the banana's leaf. He had just finished the lemonade when he saw his adversary coming down the road. Children, when he was drinking lemonade and he was enjoying his jalebis, suddenly he saw that his adversary, that the boy Suraj, he was coming down the road. His first impulse was to turn away and look elsewhere. Now, children, so what was his impulse? Was inner feeling. What is the meaning of impulse? Inner feeling. So children, his first impulse was that he started looking elsewhere. His second, to throw the lemonade bottle at his enemy, but he did neither of. And children, he feel that he should throw that bottle to his enemy, but he did neither of these things. Instead, he stood his ground and scowled at his passing adversary. Children, scowled means looked angrily. Scowled means to look angrily. So instead, children, what he did, he stood there on the ground and he scowled. He looked angrily at his passing adversary. And the warrior said nothing either, but scowled back with equal ferocity. So children, ferocity means fierceness. Okay. So children, the other opponent, he did not say anything to him. He only scowled at him fearlessly, fiercely. Okay. The next day was as hot as the previous one. So children, next day was very hot. It was as hot as the previous one. Ranjit felt weak and lazy and not at all eager for a fight. Now children, Ranjit he was feeling very children lazy, and he was not at all feel like fighting. He was feeling weak also. His body was stiff and sore after the previous day encounter. So his body was very weak and it was sore after the previous day's encounter. But he could not refuse the challenge. Now to turn up at the pool would be an acknowledgement of defeat. Now he thought if he will not go to the pool, if he will turn away his back, so that his opponent will think that he is a loser. From the way he felt just then, he knew he would be beaten in another fight. Children, so he knew children that that boy was much stronger and he might beat him in the next fight also. But he could not acquiesce in his own defeat. Children, acquiesce means accept quietly. So what is the meaning of acquiesce? This is a new word. I'm writing the meaning of this word. He knew children he would be beaten in his own fight, and but he could not acquiesce in his own defeat. He must defy his enemy to the last. So he is telling that he must defy. Defy means challenge. Here defy means so here he must defy his enemy till last. Or outwit him, for only then could he gain his respect. If he surrendered now, he would be beaten for all time. He told that if he is going to surrender now, though if he did not feel like going and have a fight, he was feeling weak and lazy, but he thought if he would be surrendered now, okay, then it would be difficult for him. Every time children, then he would be beaten, and he would be beaten for all time, but to fight and be beaten today left him free to fight and be beaten again. But children, so he did not took his step backward. He wanted to fight and be beaten if he want. As long as he fought, he had a right to the pool in the forest. So he thought he, as long as he will fight, nobody can stop him to going towards the pool. So now I am at page number 51. Now he was half hoping that the warrior would have forgotten the challenge. Now children, really he did not feel like going and fight, and he was thinking that the warrior would have stopped, forgotten. He was wishing that the warrior would have forgotten the challenge. But these hopes were dashed when he saw his opponent sitting. But when he went to the pool, children, his all dream shattered because his opponent was sitting there, striped to the waist. Children, he was striped to the waist on a rock on the other side of the pool. The warrior was rubbing oil on his body. He saw Ranjit beneath the salt trees and called a challenge across the water of the pool. Now, as soon as warrior children he saw Ranjit, he gave him a challenge to fight. Come over on this side and fight. Now children, he shouted. He told Ranjit that come to this side and then we will have a nice fight. But Ranjit was not going to submit to any condition laid down by his opponent. Now children, Ranjit was also a brave boy. He told that I am not going to follow any conditions or instructions given by his opponent. Who is the opponent here? Opponent is that boy. Come over on this side and fight, he shouted, but Ranjit was not going to follow any of his instruction and condition. Come this side and fight, he shouted back with equal vigor. So he told that come this side and fight, and children, he also shouted at his opponent with full force. Swim across and fight me here, called the other, or perhaps you cannot swim the length of this pool. So he is telling, swim across and fight me here, called the other, or perhaps you cannot swim the length of this pool. Now he started shouting, you come here this side to fight, otherwise you will not know how lengthy is the pool, because you might not know about swimming. But Ranjit could have swum the length of the pool a dozen times without tiring. Now children, Ranjit was expert in swimming. That boy was thinking he could not swim that pool even for a once, but Ranjit could swim that pool for a dozen of times. He was an expert and very good, an excellent swimmer. And here he would show the warrior his superiority. And children, here now he knew that the warrior was not a good swimmer, and he would like to show his superiority of swimming. So slipping out of his vest, he dived straight into the water. Now children, he slipped into the water, he jumped into the water, and children, he dived straight into the water, cutting through it like a knife. Children, he was diving into the water as if somebody was cutting the water with a knife, and surfaced with hardly a splash. And children, he was just going there with a splash, and he was as if somebody is cutting that portion of water with a knife. The warrior mouth hung open in amazement. Now children, the warrior was very much amazed at how expert he is in swimming. He was not able to swim like that. So his mouth hung open in amazement. You can dive, he explained. Now he started asking him, you can dive? It is easy, said Ranjit, treading water, waiting for a further challenge. Can't you dive? Now children, he told it is easy, and he told, can't you dive? No, said the other. I jump straight in, but if you will tell me how I will make a dive. Now he is telling, I jump straight in, but if you will tell me how I will make a dive. Now he told that I don't know how I am going to dive. If you can help me, if you can teach me, then I will jump straight in, but if you will tell me how I will make a dive. It is easy, said Ranjit. Now children, Ranjit was not a bad boy. He was in a mood to help him because his enemy was asking him, and he wanted to show that he's expert in diving also. So he told, it is easy, said Ranjit. Stand on the rock, stretch your arms out, and allow your head to display your feet. So he is telling you just splash. What is the meaning of splash? Sound of falling into water. So he told his enemy that you have to jump straight. You have to stand on the rock, stretch your arms out, and allow your head to displace your feet. Displace, children, is left. The warrior stood up stiff and straight. Now children, the warrior he stood stiff and straight. And it is easy, said Ranjit, treading water, waiting for a further challenge. Can't you dive? No, said the other. I jump straight in, but if you will tell me how, I will make him dive. So children, his opponents, this time he requested him how to have a dive. It is easy, said Ranjit. Stand on the rock, stretch your arm out and allow your head to display your feet. The warrior stood up, stiff and straight, stretched out his arms and threw himself into the water. He landed flat on his belly with a crash that sent the birds screaming out of the tree. So children, he jumped in such a way, there was such a strong crash was there that all the birds screaming out of the trees. Ranji dissolved into laughter. So Ranji was so happy that he started laughing. Are you trying to empty the pool? He asked as the warrior came to the surface, spouting water like a small wave. Now, children, he told, "Are you trying to empty the pool?" When he saw children, the warrior, okay, and what he was doing, he was spouting water like a small whale. Wasn't it good? Asked the boy, evidently proud of his feat. Now, children, the boy, he told, wasn't it good? Uh, Evidently proud of his feat. Not very good, said Ranjit. You should have more practice. See, I will do it again. Now, children, Ranjit told him that it was not very good, but you need more practice for it, and I will show you how I am going to do it again. And pulling himself up on a rock, he executed another perfect dive. Now, children, he did another perfect dive, okay, and the pull. So finally, Ranjit decided that he would teach diving to his opponent, and children, even his opponent was interested in learning diving, okay, and he started taking tips from Ranjit how to dive and how to swim under water. Now, children, the warrior stood up stiff, and the Ranjit started teaching him how to do the children how to dive. He showed him, as you can see in the picture, he stood straight on the rock and stretched his arm upwards, and he told, allow your head to displace your feet. Okay, displace, children. The meaning of displace is to move. Okay, displace means to left. Okay, displace your feet, and after you have to fall inside the water from your head side, and you have to leave your feet. The warrior stood up stiff and straight. Now, children, he also wanted to do like that. He stood up stiff and straight, stretched out his arm, threw himself into the water. He landed flat on his belly. But children, he was not able to do it properly, because for the first time he was doing it with a crash that sent the birds screaming out of the tree. Such a crash was heard that all the birds were screaming, and they flew towards the trees. Ranjit dissolved into laughter. Now, children, the way he had done, Ranjit started laughing. Are you trying to empty the pool? He asked as the warrior came to the surface. Now, he told warrior that are you wanted to empty the pool the way you are diving in such a crash that with lot of splash the water had, children, uh, it had gone out of the surface also, spouting water like a small whale. Wasn't it good? Asked the boy, evidently proud of his feat. Now, children, the boy all asked, wasn't it good? I have done the way you have taught me. Ranjit told, not very good, said Ranji. You should have more practice. See, I will do it again. So he told, you should have more practice, and you can see how I am going to do it again. And pulling himself up on a rock, he executed another perfect dive. So he gave him and pulling himself up on a rock, he executed and the perfect dive. The other boys waited for him to come up, but swimming underwater, Ranjit circled him and came upon him from behind. How did you do that? Asked the astonished youth. Can't you swim underwater? Asked Ranjit. No, but I will try it. So he told, I will try it. The warrior made a tremendous effort to plunge to the bottom of the pool. Now, children, once again, he made an effort to plunge into the bottom of the pool. And indeed, he thought he had gone right down. So, what did he thought? He thought he had gone right down, though his bottom, like a duck's, remained above surface. Children, his body remained up on the surface. He was not able to do it. Ranji, however, did not wanted to discourage him, so he did not say anything to him. He only just gave him again some tips, so he will not be discouraged. So he told it was not bad. He said, but you need a lot of practice. Will you teach me? Asked his enemy. If you like, I will teach you. They had pulled themselves out of the water. Now, children, they came out of the water and were sitting side by side on a smooth grey rock. Now, children, he was sitting side by side on the smooth grey rock. My name is Suraj, said the warrior. What is your? It's Ranjit. So he told, my name is Suraj. And he told, okay, it's Ranjit. I'm strong, am I not? Asked Suraj, bending his arm so that a ball of muscle stood up, stretching the white of his flesh. So he told, I am strong. So did it, Suraj asked, am I not strong? He told, and then he showed his muscles. So he bending his arm, he showed his muscle, and the ball of muscle stood up, stretching the white of his flesh. You are strong, said Ranjit. You are a real Pahalwan. Now Ranjit also complimented him. He told, you are strong and you are real Pahalwan. One day I will be the world champion wrestler. Now Suraj told, one day I will be world champion wrestler, slapping his thighs, which shook with the impact of his hand. He looked critically at Ranjit's hard, thin body. You are quite strong yourself. Now, children, in a very critical manner, he looked at the thin body of Ranjit, but at the same time, he complimented to him that you are also quite strong yourself. He conceded. Conceded means admitted. But you are too bony. But he told that you are very bony. Bony means you are very thin. I know you people do not eat enough. And he told, just because you people do not eat enough, you must come and have your food with me. He's telling, as long as you stay here, you can have food with me. And I drink 1 share of milk every day. So he told, 1 share of milk I drink every day. We have got our own cow, and he's telling we are having a cow also, and 1 share of milk I drink every day. Children, 1 share is mean, children, it is a 1 share of milk, it is, share is less than a liter. And he told me, from now we are friends and we can share the milk. And I will make you a Pahalwan like me. No, if you teach me to dive and swim underwater, he told me, I will also make a Pahalwan. I will make you Pahalwan if you will teach me dive and swimming underwater. I will make you Pahalwan. That is fair, is not it? Now, children, a deal was made between them. That is fair. Ranjit also agreed. He told me, yes, this is fair. If I will teach you something, you will also teach me something. He doubted if he was getting the better of the exchange. Suraj put his arm around the younger boy and said, we are friends now. They looked at each other with honest, unflinching eyes, unflinching without closing, staring each other for a longer time. And in that moment, love and understanding were born. Children, when they were looking into each other's eyes, children, love and understanding was born between them. We are friends now, said Ranjit. The birds had settled again in their branches, and the pool was quiet and limpid in the shade of the sal tree. Limpid is clear. Limpid is clear. It is our pool, said Suraj. Now, children, what did Suraj told? It is not my pool. Now, what did he say? He said it is our pool. That means he gave permission that now he is also one of the owner of the pool. Nobody else can come here without our permission. Who would dare? And he told kids, nobody would dare. Nobody would come here without our permission. Who would dare? Said Ranjit, smiling with the knowledge that he had won that day. Now, who would dare? Ranjit children started smiling because he was the one who had won that day. He started smiling. So, children, Ruskin Bond has given here a nice message that we should, children, respect the capability and talents of other, and we should never fight. Instead of fighting, we should be friends. So, with this, I conclude my video here. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.